at this point, I only thought of myself as a guitarist because that's all I really wanted to do. My guitar gaun khas त्यस्तो मन थिएन हैन. म चाहिँ गिटार मात्र obsessed थिएँ. Guitar riffs, guitar sounds, it's good.
I also wanted to shift a bit in terms of तपाईँको 1 year at Albatross. How that happened?
एउटा कन्सर्ट भएको थियो त्यसमा चाहिँ Albatrossले बजाएको थियो. कसो त्यो अर्गनाइजरहरु चाहिँ हाम्रो साथीहरु भएर उनीहरुले हामीलाई पनि छेड्यो.
What was your favorite creation working with them?
But these are all very obscure songs. कसैलाई पनि थाहा छैन होला यो English songs. मलाई चाहिँ एकदम मन पर्ने चाहिँ
तपाईँकोमा चाहिँ how supportive were your parents when you said like I want to pursue music?
I mean, they were very supportive, as supportive as they can be. I mean, we all want to do the band, and so we have to make a decision: are we going to do the band or not? But it was like very hard to like approach my parents. Can you imagine? About the balla US pathaeko chora.
2 years ago, I discovered one of the juiciest burgers in town, served by Tease Your Palate, and guess what? I'm thrilled to announce that they're sponsoring this video, and they've also opened a sister venture by the name Sicily by Tease. With the same service and with the same quality, they're serving you some delicious pizzas. All the details will be down in the description. Make sure to check them out.
हामीले तपाईले ब्यान्डको कुरा निकाल्नु भयो. हार्दिक, can you pull up the video? तपाईको एउटा भिडियोबाट सुरु गरौँ भनेर. Because I was looking through it अनि कस्तो रमाइलो. I think that video actually हेरेर राख्दा ठ्याक्क त्यो परफर्म गर्नुभएको थियो.
This is Nepali folk music.
And he says this is Nepali folk music.
She's there in the audience.
This is like 15 years ago.
15 years, oh my god.
If you can tell me about this moment, I know. And this is he playing that Nepali music in front of a foreign crowd.
So, यो चाहिँ नि grassroots festival भन्नेमा बजाएको हामीले 2009. It's like हामी बस्ने एरियामा चाहिँ it's like the biggest festival, like thousands of people come there every year. अनि हाम्रो चाहिँ जब ड्रिम थियो grassroots festival बजाउने भनेर. तर I mean they do support local bands हरूलाई, but they would always want to put us in सानो stage मा. So we were like, no, if we do play, we gotta play it in this big stage. So we didn't go for years, and during those years, I mean, album nikaldo, we toured a lot. Like, our local fan base was like really big at that point. And balla balla unale hamलाई यो slot दियो. अनि Kasa Ayurveda भनेको चाहिँ it didn't start off as Nepali गीतहरु भनेको. It was strictly English songs. अनि singer हाम्रो Tom Jesus भनेको चाहिँ Nepali folk music भन्ने उनी हो. He is like our singer. हैन म चाहिँ खास at this point I only thought of myself as a guitarist because that's all I really wanted to do. My गीत पनि गाउन खास त्यस्तो मन थिएन हैन. Because म चाहिँ गिटार मात्र obsessed थिएँ. Guitar riffs, guitar sounds यताउति. अनि कस्तो भने म चाहिँ नि कलेजमा हामी भएको हो. Like we formed in मेरो second year ma. And after I graduated, so I had to figure out like how to stay in the US because I didn't want to get a job and I just wanted to play in the band. And we had a friend who suggested that I apply for this P3 visa, which is like a culturally important artist. So a lot of artists who go from Nepal to the US to perform, they go in this P3 visa. So for that, I had to like show like that I do Nepali music because at that time I was already doing Nepali songs उनीहरुसँग यतिकै फनको लागि. किनभने हामी कस्तो हुन्छ हामी टुरमा गएको बेला चाहिँ नि सर्टेन सिटिजमा चाहिँ धेरै नेपालीहरु हुन्थ्यो अनि उनीहरु हेर्न आउँथे हामीलाई. अनि जस्ट फर देम वी वुड प्ले लाइक होका मेरो अनि यो साँझको बेलामा जस्ट अनि जतिमा लाइफ जस्ट किन कहिलेकाहीँ त हाम्रो सेट एकदम लामो हुन्थ्यो हाम्रो गीतहरु पुग्दैन थियो अनि जस्ट we just had to like jam and fill stuff out. And so just for my P3 visa application, we recorded Rato Mato भन्ने album, which is like a cover of like 1970-80 को गीत हो यो चाहिँ साँझको बेला, which is not even folk गीत पनि भन्नु मिल्दैन हैन. अनि तर अनि त्यति त्यो एल्बम निकाल्ने बेलाको टाइमको यो भिडियो हो यो चाहिँ नि. त्यो एल्बम चाहिँ निकालेको मोस्टली मेरो एप्लिकेसनको लागि के. अनि त्यसपछि चाहिँ नि किनभने आर्टिस्ट सो सपोर्टिङ डकुमेन्ट्स हुन्छ नि अब आइम डुइङ दिस आइम डुइङ द्याट अनि we had to take videos of us playing Nepali songs. I mean, that's not why we took this. It was like 4 or 5 songs लगाएर खिचे त हाम्रो साथीले हो. So that was the reason. And I had no expectations. And who was the drummer? हाम्रो band Mike. So him and I mostly we made that album. Just it was like one of the checklist application process. And it just became something else. And it changed our lives.
अनि this was तपाईँ मात्र नेपाली थियो कि यो ब्यान्डमा?
अर्को शिखर बजाचार्य भन्ने छ. He's a guitarist. He's a Nepali, US born Nepali. So म Ithaca College भन्नेमा गएको. It's in upstate New York. त्यहाँ चाहिँ नि गएको within the second or third day भनेको someoneले अर्को नेपाली पनि छ म र अर्को नेपाल साथी अनि उसलाई भेट्न जाउँ भन्यो नि उसलाई भेट्यो अनि इज लाइक शिखर फर्स्ट थिङ वी टक्ड अबाउट इज लाइक साउन्ड गार्डन सिस्टममा डाउन हुन्छ नि हिज लाइक भेरी इन्टु गिटार पर्ल ज्याम यताउति सो इट्स जस्ट बाई लक he could have been anybody. He could have been someone who's not into music. He just happened to be Shikhar. And then उसको घर गयो अनि किन ऊ त्यहीँ बस्थ्यो उसको आमाले चाहिँ यति कलेज पढाउनु हुन्थ्यो अनि ज्याम अनि त्यसपछि उसले मलाई एक दिन फोन गर्यो बिहान अनि आइएम स्टार्टिङ अ ब्यान्ड डु वान्ट टु बी इन इट अनि त्यसपछि गयो अनि द्याट्स व्हेन आई फर्स्ट मेट हाम्रो सिङ्गर सो त्यो ओरिजिनल लाइनअपबाट चाहिँ हामी 3 जना हो त्यसपछि वी एडेड अ बेसिस्ट ड्रमर पछि लाइक वी रिप्लेस्ड आवर बेसिस्ट एन्ड ड्रमर तर द 3 of us were in the same year in college. We graduated. Tom didn't graduate. तर म शिखर चाहिँ अब नेपाली भएर ग्रेजुएट गर्नै पर्यो अमेरिकनहरू कसैले ग्रेजुएट गरेर बाल ठोक्दैन.
I wanted to ask about obviously after this band was disbanded होइन तपाईँहरूले did you also हुन्छ नि मनबाट would you like नेपाली म्युजिकै गर्छु भन्ने थियो कि were you still like हुन्छ नि I'll probably do it in English भनेर
अब so disband हुने बेला चाहिँ it was like a really confusing time because यो भिडियो निकाल्यो नि खास यो चाहिँ नि हाम्रो साथीले खिचेर उसले भिमियोमा राखेको थियो क्या मैले चाहिँ उसलाई युट्युब जस्ट पक्का आएको थिएँ मैले उसलाई प्लिज युट्युबमा राख भने उसले होइन युट्युबको भिडियो क्वालिटी राम्रो हुँदैन भिमियोको ऊ चाहिँ पक्का अब त्यो भिडियो नर्ड भएर क्या अनि यो चाहिँ नि एकजनाले रिप गरेर राखेको क्या त्यहाँ भिमियोबाट त्यो एकदम पोर क्वालिटी छ नि अनि यो चाहिँ नि अब इन दोज डेज भाइरल भनौँ न सो लर पिपल हर्ड दिस अनि त्यो मेरो रातामाटो एल्बम धेरैले सुन्यो अनि माची काँडेले यो साँझको बेलामा अनि मेरो कभर्सहरू लेखाले यताउति सो हामी अब आयुर्वेदा भनेर हामी वी स्टिल लाइक वी वर नट नेपाली ब्यान्ड वी आर लाइक एन इङ्ग्लिस ब्यान्ड त्यही बेला हामी जहाँ टुर गर्दा पनि मोस्ट अफ अडियन्सेसहरू अब ठुलो सोजहरूमा अल नेपाली नै हुन्थ्यो उनीहरूलाई अब नेपाली गीत सुन्नुपर्ने अनि हुँदा इट बिकेम लाइक हाफ कुनै सोज लाइक वुड बी हाफ नेपाली सङ्ग्स हाफ हाम्रो ओरिजिनल सङ्ग्सहरू कि एन्ड इट जस्ट फेल्ट वियर्ड क्या एट द पोइन्ट इट वाज लाइक this whole band was changing and what we thought the band was not and then just the conflict and then we just decided okay let's just go separate ways this point I did another project with like the bassist that was like a different English project so by that point I felt like I was like a fully formed Nepali musician because I was starting to write Nepali songs and I was like diving deeper into just what's possible musically in Nepali music bhaneko like certain genres they was not represented the genres that I like it's just like experimental kuraharu so like I would just like experiment अब यस्तो ड्रिम पप खालको इन्स्ट्रुमेन्टल बन्छ नेपाली लिरिक्स हाल्दा कस्तो हुन्छ त्यस्तो खालको
Were you ever in a dilemma in terms of what language you wanted to pursue?
No, I mean it's I do write a lot of songs in English. But at this, I mean, in a way, yes, dilemma huncha because I don't know. Kinane mero start say it started with English music. Like my roots are like khasai भन्नु पर्दा English गीतहरुबाट सुरु भएको English bands. अनि अब नेपाली म्युजिक मैले एकदमै एप्रिसिएट गर्न थालेको भनेको actually it's more US गएपछि हो I left when I was 19 अनि त्यहाँ गएर you saw everything in a different light किनभने होमसिक पनि भइरहेको थियो अनि things you took for granted became much more precious much more हैन अनि and then I got like really into Nepali folk music अनि त्यति बेलाको ब्यान्ड्सहरू नेपथ्य 97 AD अब नारायण गोपाल अरुण थापा सबै भयो हैन अनि अब अहिले चाहिँ कस्तो भने इट्स आई फिल लाइक आइम अ नेपाली म्युजिसियन फर्स्ट एन्ड फरमोस्ट ल्याङ्ग्वेजमा चाहिँ नि तर आई हेभ अ लट अफ इङ्ग्लिस सङ्ग्स बिकज द्याट्स माई प्राइमेरी सङ राइटिङ मिडियम which so my next project is going to be like full English album. I would only sunos, but that's just for me. Yeah, because like when I think about songwriting, it's easier for me to write in English. अनि त्यही सेम फिलिङ नेपाली लिरिक्समा लिएर आउन चाहिँ मलाई एकदमै टाइम लाग्छ इट्स लाइक इट्स गेटिङ इजियर एन्ड इजियर तर इट्स स्टिल लाइक अ प्रोसेस बिकज इट्स नट लाइक मैले इङ्ग्लिस मेरो लिरिक्स पढ्नमा जे फिलिङ आउँछ मैले सेम कुरा ट्रान्सलेट गरेँ भने इट डजन्ट वर्क सो यु हेभ टु लाइक घुमेर लाइक अर्कै बाटोबाट वर्ड्सहरू कम्प्लिट डिफ्रेन्ट हुन्छ मेबी इभन द कन्सेप्ट माइ बी डिफ्रेन्ट बट द्याट फिलिङ द्याट आई वान्टेड हेज टु बी प्रिजर्भ
मलाई पनि कहिले त्यस्तो हुन्छ इन टर्म्स अफ पडकास्ट गरेँ होइन माई रुट्स मैले जे हेर्ने इट्स अल इङ्ग्लिस होइन अनि बिचबिचमा इट्स अ मिक्स अफ इङ्ग्लिस एन्ड नेपाली होइन बट मोस्ट अडियन्स यहाँ नेपालमा दे डोन्ट अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड त नभनौँ तर दे डोन्ट हुन्छ नि किन मिक्स गरे कि त नेपालीमा गर कि त इङ्ग्लिसमा गर जस्तै क्या अनि द्याज अ डिलेमा लाइक डु आई डु फुल्ली इङ्ग्लिस अर डु आई डु नेपाली भनेर एन्ड देन कस्तो हुने रहेछ अनि मार्केटमा वाट इज वर्किङ भर्सेस वाट यु वान पुट आउट एज वेल त्यस्तोमा कहिले भएको छ तपाईँलाई
मार्केट इज द मार्केट लाइक आई डोन्ट थिङ्क आई हेभ एनी इन्साइट हुन्छ नि किन कस्तो हुन्छ भने सर्टन गीतहरू निकाल्यो अनि यो चाहिँ नि एकदमै आई वर्क भेरी हार्ड अन दिस नट जस्ट माई सङ्ग्स अरू गीतहरू पनि एन्ड इट डजन्ट डु एनिथिङ सर्टन गीतहरू ओके इट्स फाइन एन्ड दे डु रियली वेल लाइक मेरो चाहिँ आई डोन्ट हेभ अ गेज मलाई थाहा नै हुँदैन कि अब के चल्छ के चल्दैन के चल्छ कि त्यो पनि चेन्ज भइरहेको छ होइन सो आई थिङ्क इट्स मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेन्ट जस्ट टु बी ह्याप्पी विथ वाट यु पुट आउट आफूले चाहिँ नि यु गेभ इट लाइक 100% अनि of course, I mean, that's not to say like everyone has to feel that way. Because some people are very analytical in that way. Like kids always kids and just like how do we push it and that's totally fine and that's valid. But for me it's more about what I feel until if people listen to it, that's good. And if they don't.
अनि तपाईँले अब जस्तै आई नो यो फर्स्ट इन्स्ट्रुमेन्ट वाज गिटार होइन त्यसपछि वेन डिड यु ट्रान्जिसन इन्टु राइटिङ सङ्ग्स एन्ड पर्फर्मिङ आफ्नै
फर्स्ट सङ आई रिमेम्बर मैले कहिले लेखेको भनेको सो म युएस जानु अगाडि चाहिँ म एल्बाट्रसमा 1 वर्षको लागि थिएँ जस्तो ब्रिफ टाइम त्यति बेला चाहिँ हामीले एउटा एल्बम बनाएको थियो सबै इङ्ग्लिस गीतहरू त्यसमा चाहिँ मैले 2टा गीत लेखेको थिएँ अनि इट वाज लाइक अ म्याजिकल एक्सपिरियन्स थियो त्यस्तै अब म गीत लेख्छु भने ब्याङमा वर्ड पनि आयो म्युजिक पनि ठ्याक्कै ठ्याक्कै भयो क्या त्यो कसै भयो के पनि थाहा छैन त्यो भयो त्यसपछि चाहिँ धेरै वर्षलाई भएन तर द्याट फिलिङ वाज लाइक यस्तो हुँदो रहेछ द्याट्स वाट अब पुरा अब सङ राइटिङ ग्रेट्स बब डिलन जर्ज ह्यारिसन जन लेननको कुरा सुन्ने भयो अनि त्यही भन्छ कि यु जस्ट लाइक अ रेडार लाइक जस्ट ट्राइङ टु फाइन्ड एन्ड च्याप्प यु लाइक क्याच इट त्यस्तो फिलिङ चाहिँ आई ह्याड इट लाइक वेन आई वाज लाइक 18 फर द फर्स्ट टाइम इन लाइफ अनि त्यसपछि चाहिँ आई डिडन्ट डु इट फर अ लङ टाइम बट आई थिङ्क म आयुर्वेदाको लाइक म somewhere around 2005, 2004 like आयुर्वेदा भइरहेको थियो बट इट्स अन द साइड त्यो बेला म बिस्तारै म होम रेकर्डिङमा आई वाज गेटिङ इन्ट्रेस्टेड अनि त्यति बेला चाहिँ एउटा साउन्ड क्लिक भन्ने एउटा वेबसाइट थियो यु क्यान जस्ट पुट अप योर सङ्ग्सहरू अनि म चाहिँ साउन्ड क्लिकमा हाल्थेँ अनि त्यसपछि केटिएम रक्स भन्ने फोरम थियो त्यसमा चाहिँ म हुन्छ नि मेरो नयाँ गीत सुन अनि पिपल वुड कमेन्ट whatever it felt nice to like think of an idea and then like fully realize it and then put it out अब अहिले सुन्ने बाद एकदमै रफ लाग्छ तर द्याट वाज लाइक अ भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट स्टेप मेरो लाइक सङ राइटिङ जर्नीमा
अनि तपाईँको लागि बिकज फर मोस्ट म्युजिसियन्स होइन पडकास्ट गर्दाखेरि पनि कोही चाहिँ कस्तो हुन्छ नि आफ्टर दे गेट अ हार्ट ब्रेक होइन दे राइट सङ्ग्स होइन फर यु वाट वाज दोज फिलिङ्स द्याट मेड यु हुन्छ नि वान राइट सङ्ग्स
इट्स सो द फर्स्ट फ्यु सङ्ग्स द्याट आई रिमेम्बर राइटिङ वाज I was in a relationship at that time and it was sort of like that it was like unsure about college graduate and lots of के हुन्छ अब त्यो what's going to happen type को थियो अनि अर्को चाहिँ इज फिलिङ अफ homesickness, which is like a constant running thread. त्यो homesick भने चाहिँ अब it's like a baseline चाहिँ हुन्छ कि बाहिर जाने. Even if you don't feel it, like it's there. कुनै टाइममा चाहिँ it flares up, it comes down. त्यो and then this feeling of identity crisis type पनि हुन्छ. त्यो किनभने म गएको स्कुलमा चाहिँ predominantly सबै white स्टुडेन्ट्सहरू थियो अनि मेरो साथीहरू सबै white थियो. अनि me and एक दुईजना we were like brown अनि people of color or whatever. अनि so that was also like a feeling of म चाहिँ के हो म कहाँ हो, a feeling like really like not anchored क्या, like you're like spinning around type को. So like it's like happy songs चाहिँ हुँदैन.
And this let's talk about a bit about Sajjan दाइको tour हैन. त्यसको चाहिँ how was the whole process and how first मा चाहिँ how did you start हुन्छ नि being like let's work together चाहिँ how when did that happen Sajjan दाइसँग?
Sajjan चाहिँ I met like a while back. हामीले Colorado एउटा show थियो. It was me and Bartika and Sajjan. I think that was the first time we like officially met. And since then we've been keeping in touch. हामी अब न्यु योर्क सिटीमा बस्थ्यो त्यो बेला म पनि अनि we would have a few times we met for lunch यताउति अनि I'm always keeping up on what he's doing, his new releases. अनि I think it's 2 years ago LOD मा बजाएको first show. त्यही बेला म नेपालमै थिएँ अनि ऊ पनि नेपालमै थियो अनि त्यही बेला he contacted me. It's like he's putting together a band if I would like to play with him. त्यही बेला think सुरु भयो and we had like probably like 2 weeks of practice, 2-3 weeks. Like it's like a long practice because we were like doing like song by song, like really fine tuning the songs, and we're still doing that even 2 years later. Because it's like सुरुमै झ्याप्प यति धेरै गीत सुक्दा it's like a lot, it's like very overwhelming. But as the time goes on, you can like now like sort of break it down and fine tune it more.
Maima didi आउनु भएको थियो and she talked a lot about how Sajjan दाइ's whole team worked in terms of हुन्छ नि the उहाँले difference पाउनु भयो अरे के how Sajjan दाइ works उहाँको talent in terms of हुन्छ नि. So तपाईको I wanted to ask you हुन्छ नि as a musician's point of view हैन what are the things he's doing outside of just singing the song that makes you feel like okay damn his way अरू ठाउँमा पनि उसको छ खालको.
Yeah, I mean उसको त since day one he was pretty exceptional, like because उसले गर्ने गीतहरुमा he does everything from like production, songwriting, like so उसँग live बजाउने बेला चाहिँ it's nice and I mix a bunch of songs with him. I mean also like the last few releases I've mixed for him. It's nice working with him because he's very clear about what he wants, which if you're working with someone that's like त्यो चाहिँ एकदमै राम्रो कुरा हो. Because vagueness भएपछि चाहिँ either you have to be like just like that kind of person हुन्छ नि भेग छ जे भन्नुहुन्छ नि जे गरे चाहिँ भयो के तर लट टाइम्स कस्तो भेग हुन्छ त्यही भएर यो पनि भएन यो पनि भयो because they don't know what they want until they hear it and then त्यो चाहिँ धेरै like you're like just searching in the dark. Sajjanमा चाहिँ I like it because it's very precise, like it has to be this and this, which for me is like is a very good thing. So त्यो गरे भने everything is streamlined, everything is nice. Because उसको live showsमा चाहिँ नि what we're trying to do अघि भने जस्तो is like we're trying to recreate like the recorded जे record गरेछ like as much as we can. सबै त like it doesn't even make sense हैन. And the key things is like trying to make it there, and you know it's like a lot of fun because he's like an amazing performer and great singer live. Like it's very like his voice like really translates well in the live setting पनि किनभने मैले चाहिँ अब त्यो न पहिला उसलाई हेर्ने he just did like acoustic, solo acoustic अनि full band सँग गर्ने बेला चाहिँ that was the first time like I heard him sing like हामीसँग चाहिँ अनि yeah of course I mean उसको lyrics is very great. I mean, also production is very innovative. He's always searching for new sounds and new ideas. And हाम्रो कुराहरु पनि त्यस्तै हुन्छ नयाँ plugin, नयाँ sound. So it's a lot of fun.
In terms of the event, do you think this event, recently गरेको event, sets a new bar for musicians in Nepal?
Yeah. I mean, it does for those who can do it. it's like I think your Nepal tour was, yeah, try to raise the bar because last time LOD it was like kind of like a big thing because not just like attendance but it's like execution of like how the songs are presented, how we're playing it live, and how the visuals go with the songs, and that just when you pass towards that just took that to the next level because like we were talking like how do we make this better. Of course, music, there's a lot of things we can do, but it's also in terms of like the whole production of the sound. Project Studio did the sound, and it was amazing. And Team Excel. I mean, there's like so many moving pieces. Like it was. कति चाहिँ अब मलाई थाहा पनि छैन अनि कति चाहिँ मलाई थाहा हुनु पनि थिएन क्या because like it just seemed like so stressful क्या यति धेरै moving partsहरू अनि but when it came together it was like yeah I mean it's definitely like set a new level of not as a challenge just like I mean for me it's like it's just showing like this is possible and maybe but it's not easy definitely it's not easy I mean I know behind the scenes like must have been a lot of issues.
Like personally what is the biggest show you've performed in?
I think the Ostigo Bhaktapur was like
the biggest
I don't know how many thousand people. It was like the biggest show I've ever played.
अनि अरु आर्टिस्टहरुसँग काम गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ
I mean the biggest show before that was just Grassroots Festival, not this one but the third one we did that had like the biggest crowd. That was also like probably like 6,000-7,000 people did the bela.
I think त्यसको पनि भिडियो
छ मेरो लामो
I think त्यसमा तपाईले केसमा रेसम परफर्म गर्नु भएको थियो I think I believe कि त्यो अर्को वाला
रेसम त अर्को थियो that's different यो चाहिँ हामी आयो भन्ने गीत गर्यो त्यसमा चाहिँ नि
approximately कति थियो होला अहिले
6,000-7,000 I mean this is also because it's a festival so हामीलाई हेर्न भनेर आएको हैन because it's like we're part of the lineup so I think you would get like probably like what like 8,000-9,000 people in this festival. Grassroots. So they're like going around and they like a thing and they stick.
Performing baira ani what have differences that you've felt?
Oh, like lots of differences. Especially I mean just in terms of technical kuraharu I mean the quality of saman of course baira is like much better. And everything is just like stuck like especially about yesto stage there's like schedule हुन्छ one band is ending and another band is starting in another stage another band is starting to overlap भइराख्छ के so and like there's hardly any glitch के very seamless back like so
नेपालमा चाहिँ कस्तो छ
मैले नेपाल जस्तो फेस्टिभल त बजाएको छैन तर नेपालमा त्यो मेन प्रब्लम भनेको त्यो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बत्ती जाने अनि even when you get the electricity the quality of the electricity त्यो चाहिँ the ground हममा राख्ने त्यस्तो प्रब्लमहरु चाहिँ हुँदै रहेछ अनि नेपालको मेन गाह्रो भनेको चाहिँ सामानहरु पाउन is very hard because quality सामान यहाँ ल्यायो भने the tax you have to pay is a lot so the same thing that you can buy in the US it costs like 2 to 3 times more here and so then it becomes
अस्तिको के भयो सजन दाइको आई थिंक यहाँ काठमाडौँकोमा पनि ठ्याक्क बिचमा was it a power cut?
I don't know exactly what it was, but there was like a big boo sound for a while.
And तर मैले भने they were so good against audio engineers उनीहरुले छिटो नै रिजल्भ गर्यो
भने I mean that was that's all Project Studio बिने अमात्य उले चाहिँ ट्याक्टो गरेर मिलाइहाल्यो किनभने हामी त अब यतिकै सिदिन्छ भनेर हामी त गइ पनि सकेको थियौ हैन अब प्लान चाहिँ अब मे आउँदैन होला so we'll just do like acoustic without any mics I mean अब के गर्ने we have to end it somehow I mean such a idea थियो let's go and ठ्याक्कै गएको ठ्याक्कै साउन्ड पनि आयो अनि it was like a very like theatrical dramatic moment go Jack will light up so we ran back and we finished with 2 songs luckily
अनि अब जस्तै तपाईको पालोमा when you were young हैन अनि अहिले you're performing हैन what differences have you seen throughout the years in terms of you performing and then as well as recording को हिसाबमा
it's huge shift in everything especially recording को हिसाबमा त like now it's available to everyone I mean it's available to record is one thing, but like to make it sound good, it's still the same struggle. So like everyone can record, but not everyone can make it. Because you have like a certain sound in your mind, kasto sunnu parne. त्यो निकाल्न चाहिँ you still need experience, you still need years of hard work and stuff like that. But in terms of just the ease of recording is like completely 180. So हामी अब सानो बेला रेकर्डिङ गर्नलाई रेकर्डिङ स्टुडियो नै जानु पर्थ्यो होइन. रेकर्डिङ स्टुडियो चाहिँ एकदमै इन्टिमिडेटिङ हुन्छ. ग्लास हुन्थ्यो उतापट्टि साइडमा अनि यतापट्टि मिक्सिङ कन्सोल हुन्थ्यो अनि रेकर्ड. तर इन अ वे द्याट वाज नाइस टु बिकज यु फेल लाइक युर अन द स्पट क्या. यु हेभ टु पर्फर्म. वी हेभ लाइक 2 hours होइन. वी हेभ टु फिनिस एभ्रिथिङ. अनि देन यु काइन्ड अफ पुस युर सेल्फ. अहिले चाहिँ अब कस्तो हुन्छ भने घरमै बसिरहेको छ बजाएर अल्छी लाग्यो. यु वाच लाइक अ सो अर समथिङ, गो आउटसाइड and it's easy to procrastinate जस्तो लाग्छ. And also like I think in a way it also makes people like kind of lazy in a way because गर्यो अनि यसलाई ट्याक्टुक मिलाइदिएको you can edit everything अनि auto tune whatever गर्न मिल्छ होइन. Which I'm guilty of that too sometimes. It's like गर्यो like I'm like okay, this is fine, like we'll just fix it later होइन. तर त्यो टाइममा चाहिँ it was more like we have to get it right now and you have to kind of live with your mistakes पनि. So it's like niskyo, we don't have time, like this is what it is, you put it out. Ramro naramro, like you hear the mistake, but what you find is like 90% of the people they don't hear that. It's only you, okay? Because that's more, you're like more self-critical and you after go sano kura pani thulo lagne, like sano mistakes are pani. So that's very different. Live show ma chai ni, yeah, since like YouTube and everything, like the Nepali music scene has just exploded. I mean, not just Nepal, worldwide. पहिला चाहिँ it was like a very, अब हामीले live बजाउने बेला चाहिँ it was more like underground, like communal thing. Like सानो सानो ब्यान्डहरू हुन्थ्यो मिलेर सो गर्थ्यो अनि अब मान्छे पनि आउँथ्यो because that was like the only outlet त्यति बेला. अब इन्टरनेट पनि it's like infancy मा थियो त्यति बेला. अहिले चाहिँ it's like everywhere. It's good. I mean, I think overall plus minus हामीलाई it's like very positive.
अहिले चाहिँ अब in terms of के भन्छ ब्रेकिङ अ म्युजिसियनको प्रोसेस होइन. एउटा म्युजिसियनले निकाल्नु त्यो जुन चाहिँ सङ निकाल्नसम्म कतिजनाले काम गर्न सक्छ इन टर्म्स अफ अहिले कसरी डिस्ट्रिब्युट भएको छ?
As in
like producer and then mix master गर्ने अर्को हुनसक्छ.
Right. Yeah, I mean that also depends on like the resources of the artist. अब मैले गर्ने बेला चाहिँ I was everything. I wrote, recorded, performed, produced, mixed, mastered सबै. Not because I wanted to do all those things. In a way I did, but also it was like अलिक बाध्यता भएर नै हुन्छ because मेरो Ayurveda on a band थियो मेरो New York ma. अनि after we broke up, like I lost a lot of those access to those resources. त्यो बेला चाहिँ हाम्रो ड्रमरले सबै produce, mix सबै उसले गर्थ्यो. अनि त्यसपछि when it came to do my stuff after the band broke up, त्यो मैले आफै गर्नै पर्यो. So मैले सबै आफै गरेँ. तर it doesn't mean त्यो गर्नुपर्छ. तर usually yeah, you will have someone who writes the songs, lyrics. I'm just talking about like a very like singer-songwriter kind of, because that's mostly the people I work with. उनीहरूसँग चाहिँ गीत हुन्छ, मेलोडी हुन्छ, कोर्ड्स हुन्छ. अनि त्यसलाई चाहिँ अब the producer's job is to like fill that out or to give it like a certain mood. So त्यो चाहिँ अब आर्टिस्टसँग कुरा गरेर अब what are they thinking of, उनीहरूले अब के सोचिरहेछ. Maybe they don't know जे गरे पनि हुन्छ. Maybe but some people have like very not like vague, but not like super sharp, but they have some idea of कस्तो हुनुपर्ने हो. अनि once everything is produced and then you know, I mean traditionally all these roles were like separated. There was a recording गर्नु पर्यो त्यसलाई. So the engineer is like specialized just in recording. अब कस्तो माइक चलाउने, gain level, like technical कुराहरू. अनि त्यसपछि चाहिँ then the mixer would mix everything. And a mastering engineer would come at the end and just fine tune the whole. Mastering usually it would be needed if you're doing like an EP or an album. So everything sounds like similar vein or similar loudness. But let's say I do, except for the singer-songwriter part, I do everything else. So I all squeezed into one. Which
is less more or जति धेरै मान्छेहरू त्यति राम्रो?
That depends. I mean, depends on chemistry, depends on...
For you personally?
For me, like I do like to collaborate. Mastering, I do like sometimes to give it to other people to master if the budget is there. But now I'm sort of like adjusting my process where like I do the mastering sort of mixing on the belay. And last mastering is like very like maybe like 5% I'm changing. But I do like to collaborate a lot in the engineering process, because that's something that मलाई एकदमै लिमिटेड नलेज छ इन्जिनियरिङमा चाहिँ नि किनभने त्यस्तो साह्रो इन्ट्रेस्ट पनि छैन बिकज आई नो वाट आई लाइक इट टु साउन्ड लाइक होइन बट आम नट किनभने इज लाइक भेरी एक्सपेन्सिभ त्यो द्याट्स लाइक अ ऱ्याबिट होल होइन त्यसको लागि चाहिँ अब म ड्रम्सहरू गर्नुभयो भने देन आई जस्ट फिल लाइक ओके यो स्टुडियोमा जाऊ आई ट्रस्ट द इन्जिनियर्स दे उनीहरूले राम्रो गर्छ अनि आई जस्ट निड द फाइल्स ब्याक सो द रेकर्डिङ प्रोसेसमा चाहिँ द ओन्ली टाइम आई लाइक टु रेकर्ड is vocals. Vocals I think is very important to work with the actual producer and that way it'll help you pachi down the line pani mixing garne bela like because you've already talked about a lot of things instead of that to mix garne bela then you expectation versus reality ko problem also. So when you're like doing the demoing and when you're doing the vocal recording like I like to obviously I do a lot of remote work. That's like the most.
When you're a video देखाउनु छ त्यो ठ्याक्क राख त ब्रो त्यो I think this was your father's performing I think यो वाला this was I think 15 years back 15 yeah अलि full screen यो
yeah
मलाई चाहिँ यो सुनिसकेपछि यस्तो रमाइलो लाग्यो and this is I found covers as well यसको सङको
मेरो माया कहाँ होला दिनमा आउने सूर्यलाई थाहा होला माछी काँडैले नजर लाउँदैमा छेक्यो डाँडैले माछी काँडैले नजर लाउँदैमा छेक्यो डाँडैले
So I also wanted to ask your father's role in your music career.
So I mean he was always like into the arts. He was a pilot. He's retired since then. तर अब त्यो बेला आरएनएससी हुन्थ्यो नट एनएससी अनि त्यसको कल्चरल प्रोग्राम छ भने ही वाज लाइक द लिडर नट जस्ट सिङ्गिङ बट डान्सिङ अनि एक्टिङहरू सबै गर्नुहुन्थ्यो उहाँले अनि गिटार पनि थियो घरमा सानोदेखि नै तर आई मिन हिज इन्फ्लुएन्स केम आई थिङ्क मच लेटर लाइक मैले यो रातो माटर गर्ने बेला त्यो मेन त मैले उहाँलाई सोधेको थिएँ अब त्यो गीतहरू कुन कुन गर्ने अनि सोध्नुभन्दा पनि उहाँले चाहिँ एउटा क्यासेट थियो त्यति बेला चाहिँ हि वाज लाइक मच यङ्गर अनि त्यति बेला चाहिँ मेरो आमाको साथीहरू चाहिँ घरमा आएको बेला उहाँले यत्तिकै गाउनुहोस् भन्नुहुन्छ आमाको साथीहरूले अनि दिस वाज प्रब्ली वेन आई वाज लाइक प्रब्ली 5-6 years ओल्ड थियो होला अनि त्यति बेलाको रेकर्डिङहरू अनि मसँग अझै छ त क्यासेटहरू त्यसमा यो माछी काँडैले भन्ने थियो अनि अर्को झलझली आँखेमा भन्ने थियो मैरुन्छु भन्ने थियो त्यसमा सो लाइक यो आई मिन मैरुन्छु चाहिँ उहाँले आफै लेख्नु भएको गीत हो तर त्यो क्यासेटहरू चाहिँ मलाई उहाँलाई नसोधिकन मैले आफैले अनि ट्रान्सक्राइब गरेर रेकर्ड गरेर अनि ल यही हो गीत भनेर होइन अनि त्यसपछि खास भन्नुपर्दा मेरो फर्स्ट गिटार कोर्स चाहिँ मलाई मेरो आमाले सिकाउनु भएको हो ई माइनर सबभन्दा सजिलो कोर्ड हाम्रो चाहिँ यत्रो ठिक एउटा सङ बुक थियो अनि किन उहाँ चाहिँ सिङ्गापुरमै हुर्किनु भएको अनि त्यति बेलाको उहाँको लाइक 70s को ब्यान्डहरू भने बिटल्स रोलिङ स्टोन्स यताउति अनि त्यसको गीतहरू हामीले गाउँथ्यौँ सँगै बसेर अनि त्यसरी मैले फर्स्ट गिटार कोर्ड चाहिँ त्यसरी सिकेको हो मेरो बाबा चाहिँ हि वाज अलवेज भेरी बिजी लाइक अब फ्लाइङमा चाहिँ आउँदै हुन्थ्यो अनि घरमा हुने बेला चाहिँ नि अब म्युजिकको वी डिडन्ट युज टु टक अबाउट म्युजिक द्याट मच बिकज अब त्यही बेला चाहिँ इज भेरी हार्ड म्युजिसियन हुन टु सपोर्ट फ्यामिली उहाँको पियर्सहरू चाहिँ दे बिकेम भेरी फेमस म्युजिसियन्स होइन बट दे आर वर फाइनेन्सियली नट भेरी स्टेबल सो उहाँले चाहिँ आई मिन इन अ वे लाइक different world भए you would have been a very successful singer or an actor but of a family ko like बाध्यताले गर्दा he had to in a way choose because also like he had to support family and then he had to support his mom and so त्यो गर्दा चाहिँ I think the choice to become pilot was like
तपाईकोमा चाहिँ how supportive were your parents when you said like I want to pursue music?
I mean, they were very supportive, as supportive as they can be. I mean, not like American parents. A lot of American parents, they were like, you drop out of college right now. I don't care. Just pursue it. Just does it here. That was also like weird for me because I was like, हामी अब ट्याक्कै graduate level, like we are like, I'm saying, अब के गर्ने? We all want to do the band. And so we have to make a decision. Are we going to do the band or not? Usually college bands, graduate, everybody goes their own way. अनि त्यति बेला चाहिँ उनीहरूलाई चाहिँ इट वाज इजी टु मेक द्याट डिसिजन जस्तो हाम्रो सिङ्गर एन्ड बेसिस्ट अब ड्रमर त ऊ त प्रो म्युजिसियन भइसक्यो अहिलेसम्म फर देम वाज लाइक या आई मिन प्यारेन्ट्सले पनि गर भने चाहिँ लाइक देयर लाइक तर मलाई चाहिँ वाज लाइक भेरी हार्ड के टु लाइक अप्रोच माई प्यारेन्ट्स अब हामी यस्तो गर्ने भनेको छ अब क्यान यु इमेजिन अब त्यो बल्ल बल्ल युएस पठाएको छोरा मैले चाहिँ इकोनोमिक्समा ग्रेजुएट गरेको हुन्छ नि अब माई ट्रेजेक्टरी वाज लाइक आई वुड बिकम अ प्रोफेसर वर्ल्ड ब्याङ्कमा काम गर्ने हुन्छ नि लाइक which I mean if I didn't meet the शिखर मैले त्यो गर्थ्यो पनि होला even if I didn't want हुन्छ नि म्युजिक चाहिँ साइडमा गरेँ which is I mean that's just the reality I mean everybody does that तर मैले अनि इमेल लेखेको थिएँ भने चाहिँ मेरो प्यासन अनि मैले चाहिँ कसरी फेस गरेको थिएँ नि I'm going to do it for like 1-2 years अनि हेर्नु कस्तो हुन्छ त्यो चाहिँ मैले अलिकति मसाज गरेको थिएँ सिचुएसन अब 1-2 वर्ष 3-4 वर्ष भयो 5-6 वर्ष भयो 6-7 वर्ष भयो अहिले त अब 15 वर्ष भइसक्यो तर आई मिन अहिले चाहिँ देयर लाइक भेरी सपोर्ट इन देयर वाज अ टाइम इन द मिडल दे वर लाइक गेटिङ कन्सर्न बिकज हुन्छ नि अब के छ फ्युचर के अब लाइक बिकज आई वाज डुइङ लट अफ अड जब्स मैले रेस्टुरेन्टमा काम गरेँ आई डिड लाइक लट अफ ऱ्यान्डम जब्स के जस्ट टु सपोर्ट माइसेल्फ वाइल आई वाज लाइक स्टिल स्टार्टिङ द प्रोड्युसिङ करियर अब तर अहिले चाहिँ आई थिङ्क देयर लाइक एट अ प्लेस वेयर लाइक देयर भेरी सपोर्टिभ एन्ड देन for them to even give me that chance suruma I think was was like more than I could have asked for at that time किन त्यही बेला त उहाँले भन्छन् होइन गरेन के भयो नेपाल आएछ होइन कि अब त्यो गाह्रो बनाउन सक्नुहुन्छ अब मैले आई वुड स्टिल डन इट जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई हुन्छ नि तर आई थिङ्क दे मेड द मेरो अलिकति ट्रान्जिसन इजियर
and this is for like I also wanted to ask for the people who are starting out and what will you like to recommend them in terms of probably some starting up on your guitar बाट सुरु गरिरहेको or starting to write music and what advices would you like to give them as a musician young musician is the main thing is it has to be fun you have to you have to enjoy doing it not you have to want to पनि भन्दैन के like you have to either you enjoy it or you don't if you don't enjoy it then don't do it if you don't if you enjoy it then do it I think that's the baseline you have to enjoy it like रमाइलो हुनु पर्यो केही न केही पाउनु पर्यो त्योबाट होइन अनि त्यो गरेपछि हार्डवर्क गर्न जस्तो मैले गिटार सिक्ने बेला आई ह्याड लाइक कति 3-4वटा फेल अटेम्प्ट्सहरू क्या म चाहिँ अब अरूले बजाएको देख्ने बेला चाहिँ वा क्या दामी मलाई त्यस्तो बजाउनु मनलाई हुन्थ्यो तर म सिक्न आएको त एकदमै गाह्रो सकेन किनभने एट सम पोइन्ट अब गिटार स्कुलमा पनि गएको हो म 1-2वटा त्यसपछि गऱ्यो 3-4 महिना गऱ्यो तर कस्तो रेजिमेन्टेड के हुन्छ यस्तो बजाउनु यस्तो बजाउनु पर्ने अनि पछि त्यो रमाइलो लागेन म छोडिदिएँ जब चाहिँ रमाइलो लाग्न थाल्यो कि मैले चाहिँ त्यो गिटार ट्याब पढ्न सिकेँ अनि मलाई जुन गीतको जे पार्ट सिक्नु मन आयो त्यो मैले सिक्न पाएँ अनि त्यो मैले बजाउनमा रमाइलो पनि आयो ओ ल मैले यस्तो बजाउँदो रहेछ सो त्यो फिलिङ चाहिँ हुनु पऱ्यो नट जस्ट इन्स्ट्रुमेन्ट इभन लाइक ब्रडर पिक्चरमा लाइक releasing songs, making songs, like at some point, त्यो गीत चाहिँ has to be your favorite song in the world, just like मलाई. Anything you're releasing, हुन्छ नि अब त्यो फिलिङ चाहिँ आउने जाने चाहिँ हुन्छ होइन तर मलाई चाहिँ कस्तो चाहिँ मैले जुन गीत बनाए पनि मलाई सुने गर्नु मन लाग्छ कि द्याट मिन्स लाइक इट्स समथिङ द्याट आई रियली लाइक
पछि त्यो फिलिङ हराउँदै जान्छ मेबी गेट्स रिप्लेस बाइ समथिङ एल्स तर you have to have that love for your music.
What might be some strategic move in terms of how they can position themselves and to have good collaborations? You've collaborated with good artists, right? त्यसको लागि पनि what strategic move can a young musician take for them to maybe possibly collaborate पछि गएर रमाइलोसँग?
त्यो त it has to be you can't really say no सुरुमा चाहिँ. That's the only thing. You'll have a lot of good experience, a lot of bad experience. Like you learn with every experience. So when you're starting out, like I never said no to anybody. Always say like I'm very selective. But starting out, like I worked with so many people, all kinds of genres. Just to gaun sakyo pani nasakyo pani je gare pani huncha ni. Because at the end of the day, I learned a lot. Just the experience bata pani. That knowledge is not like project based. That knowledge is cumulative. त्यो त बढ्दै जान्छ. So I would say like don't knock any opportunity. So don't be too precious के सुरुमा जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई. If you're starting out, I mean if you have like a सुरुमै a viral hit and you have like millions of views and then you can afford to be selective. If you're just starting out just like how I was, like just keep at it, just doing it. You have to enjoy it to some degree. Or like the projects that you don't enjoy has to be like minimal. किनभने त्यस्तो पनि हुन्छ किन at certain point like कुनै कुरा मन पर्दैन but the thing is you have to follow through, you have to see through. मन नपर्यो नि नपर्यो नि you have to finish it जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई. त्यत्तिकै छोड्यो भने चाहिँ माइन्डमा बसिरहेको छ क्या त्यो एउटा अब त्यो that's like a failure in a way. You didn't complete that project.
मलाई चाहिँ के लाग्छ भने as a musician you also need to know the business side of it.
Yeah, of course.
As well as how not to get exploited as a young musician. How to set your के भन्छ standards in terms of working with people. त्यसकोमा चाहिँ what are your thoughts?
Yeah, of course business is a big thing. And when you're young, a lot of musicians don't want to think about that. I didn't want to think about it for a long time. But also, business only comes if you have like an audience. But of course, like certain basics you have to do. You have to copyright your songs. You have to show that you have you have to be able to prove that at some point down the line, who knows what's going to happen. That's the bare minimum you have to do. त्यसपछि चाहिँ अब स्ट्रिमिङ प्लेटफर्म्सहरू राख्नलाई डिस्ट्रिब्युसन कम्पनीहरूसँग काम गर्ने that's like different because it's much more easier now. किन तिमीले एउटा जस्तो मैले चाहिँ डिस्ट्रोकिट भन्छ आउँछ I put my music there and they put everywhere. If there's a conflict then they know that I am the owner of that song. So म त्यसै पनि प्रुभ गर्न मिल्छ होइन. As far as live shows-हरुको चाहिँ it's like in a way it still is a gamble. Gamble is किनभने sometimes कस्तो हुन्छ नि अब you get payment if you're lucky. Sometimes you get payment much later. Sometimes you don't get payment. Sometimes you have to pay to get there but you don't get paid back. But सबै भएको छ like I've had the best to the worst. But in a way it's like you have to experience that जस्तो पनि लाग्छ क्या. If you only just experience the good things, त्यो भयो like you become kind of lopsided जस्तो पनि लाग्छ. You do have to face like hardships because this industry is not easy. It's not like a very comfortable. You can't like you always have to be on a state of like a little bit of anxiety. Not a bad way, but you always have to be on your toes. के भइरहेछ. I'm talking about the business side, not the creative side. The business side about त्यो अब शोमा चाहिँ अब कस्तो हुन्छ नि there's like so many things happening to get the artist paid. Like depends on if you have a sponsor, if you have a door deal, who's doing the ticketing, the door ma कतिवटा मान्छे छेर कति पैसा. You can be the kind of person who wants to know all of that, or you can be the kind of person like who trusts like a little sano team भएको मान्छे and then you work like that.
As an established artist, is it easier to get payments with people in Nepal? It's त्यस्तै छ अझै पनि scene.
For me, it's much easier now. Yeah. नेपालमा I mean, funnily enough, नेपालमा चाहिँ त्यस्तो चाहिँ भएको छैन. As in like ढिलो आए पनि I do get my payments. तर युएसमा चाहिँ नि when I was starting out so नेपाली सोजहरूमा चाहिँ नि कति भएको छ क्या I'm not gonna name names or whatever that's what happened भएको छ like we went we spent all this money to go to this place we played अनि payment भोलि पर्सि then
अहिले के गर्न मन छ in terms of like maybe contracts or is there a strategic way to go by that?
Yeah, there's contracts and stuff. तर मैले चाहिँ नेपाल shows म चाहिँ like I'm like very selective about the shows that I do. I mean when I'm playing just my music. नेपाल गएर चाहिँ I do kegorera.com and they're like family like I'm उनीहरुसँग काम गरेको धेरै भइसक्यो अनि I trust them fully हुन्छ नि. So मैले अनि US तिर गर्ने भए पनि I try to go through the उनीहरुको अब US मा chapter छ एउटा. So I could try to go through Nishal Bhatta, he takes care of all that stuff. And if I'm doing other shows, then it's like with people that I kind of already know. मैले पहिले किनभने अब अर्गनाइजर अब त्यस्तो धेरै पनि छैन युएसमा सो मैले अब चिनेकै मान्छेहरूसँग हुन्छ त्यो गर्दा काम गर्न सजिलो लाइक I've never had any contracts like that because it's always like a handshake deal. मैले प्रोडक्सन गर्ने भए I've never had a contract. It's all like handshake deal गरौँ अनि I'm thankfully touch I've never been burned
because I've heard यहाँ पनि podcastमा नि आएको छ musicians not getting their हुन्छ नि firstमा respect in terms of हुन्छ नि while performing sound checkमा होस् अथवा हुन्छ नि getting their payments late अनि त्यसपछि त्यस्तो चाहिँ सुनेको छ so I just wanted to हुन्छ नि help those people with good advices who are starting out and then who are trying to make something out of their name in this industry.
Yeah, no, it's just like it's you have to find your people just like some other. You can't just be a one-man army. So like you have to find the people you trust and who've been through a lot, and you do have to go like through some like uncomfortable moments. That yeah, I mean you have to be sharp enough to know. I mean it's. Because you can also be like super paranoid all the time. त्यो पनि हुन्छ नि एउटा कोही हुन्छ अब यसले मलाई ठग्नु त्यस्तो हुन्छ हैन तर sometimes you have to have also like outweigh like okay like your show so like your if I'm getting like a big exposure and if I'm just like a complete unknown हुन्छ नि then I would do it for free like म त्यस्तो पनि गरेको छु because I feel like at some point like what's better like to earn like a certain amount of money at that point or like a bigger platform that helps me in the future type go. So that's something that you also have to like ask yourself when you're kotiko personally comfortable so you are with the idea of fairness. What's fair to you? Because I found out that's different for every person. Okay? What's fair for you is not the same.
I'll get a bit nerdy in terms of so musicians and now since a lot of people are starting out and they want to buy a guitar and let's suppose for 3 different price ranges first beginner intermediate and advanced and what guitars would you recommend?
Beginner let's say I would recommend an acoustic guitar right? Because this is like the age old wisdom if you want to play electric guitar you have to start with acoustic guitar because acoustic बजाउन गाह्रो हुन्छ अनि एकैछिन इलेक्ट्रिकमा सर्ने बेला you are like lightning fast के सुरुमै इलेक्ट्रिकमा स्टार्ट गर्यो भने it's hard to go to acoustic is like generally harder to play bend गर्न गाह्रो हुन्छ हैन so I would recommend beginner plus beginner लाई थाहा हुँदैन like are you going to stick with it you're not so you don't want to invest in like a more expensive guitar so acoustic I mean अहिले त the quality of instruments are like way better than when I started. So like any kind of acoustic beginner अनि सेटअप चाहिँ गर्नुपर्छ एज एन सेटअप भनेको मेन कुरा चाहिँ त्यो स्ट्रिङको हाइट चाहिँ धेरै ठुलो हुनु भएन औँला ठिच्ने बेला दुख्नु भएन सुपर हैन त्यो पनि बनाउने मान्छेहरू टन्ले छ त्यो
any specific brands or any specific models you want to recommend?
अब that all depends मलाई चाहिँ अब नेपालमा के पाउँछ खासै थाहा छैन ब्रान्ड अनुसार अब युएसमा चाहिँ सस्तो ब्रान्ड्स के भन्ने अब एउटा केनेडियन कम्पनी छ गोडान भन्ने GODIN उनीहरूको चाहिँ अकुस्टिक सिरिज छ आर्ट एन्ड लुथरी भन्ने त्यो चाहिँ नि सस्तो गिटार बट भेरी वेल मेड त्यो पायो भने त्यो राम्रो छ अब नेपालमा चाहिँ के पाउँछ म आई डोन्ट रियली नो सो आई क्यान्ट रियली रेकमेन्ड यहाँको स्टोर्सहरूमा के पाउँछ तर अब एनी काइन्ड अफ अब मैले चाहिँ स्टार्ट गर्नु बेला त त्यो इन्डियन गिटारबाट सिकेको मैले सबै तर अब आई थिङ्क यु क्यान गेट लाइक चाइनिज कोरियन ब्रान्ड्स तर मेन चाहिँ आई वुड से बिगिनर चाहिँ यु स्टार्ट विथ एन अकुस्टिक बिकज इट अल्सो टिचेस यु फन्डामेन्टल्सहरू लाइक कोर्ड्सहरू यसरी सुरुमै लिड जानुभन्दा हुन्छ एन्ड अल्सो यु डोन्ट निड एम्प स्याम्प केही चाहिँदैन जहाँबाट बजाए पनि भयो होइन त्यो भयो अनि त्यसपछि चाहिँ आई थिङ्क या लाइक इफ यु क्यान इन्भेस्ट इन लाइक एन इलेक्ट्रिक गिटार मेरो फेभरेट इलेक्ट्रिक गिटारहरू चाहिँ आई मिन देयर इज अ डिफ्रेन्ट इलेक्ट्रिक गिटार स्टाइल फर डिफ्रेन्ट साउन्ड्स तर मलाई चाहिँ स्ट्राटोक्यास्टर एकदम मनपर्छ स्ट्राटोक्यास्टर टेलोक्यास्टर स्टाइल त्यसको लागि चाहिँ स्क्वायर फेन्डरको स्क्वायर भन्ने कम्पनी चाहिँ इट्स लाइक द सिस्टर कम्पनी जस्तो उनीहरूको अलिकति चिपर भर्जनहरू द्याट कुड बी लाइक बिगिनर स्ल्यास इन्टरमिडिएटहरूलाई चाहिँ स्क्वायर त्यसपछि चाहिँ देन यु क्यान गो उनीहरूको जापानिज सिरिजहरू कोरियन सिरिज म चाहिँ आम मोर लाइक फेन्डर स्टाइल गिटारहरूमा चाहिँ मनपर्छ मलाई लेस पलहरू टाइपहरू चाहिँ लाइक मेटल गिटारहरू चाहिँ म खासै धेरै बजाउँदैन आजकल तर मैले अब यो भिडियोहरू पनि त्यो टेलिकास्ट स्टाइल नै बजाएको छु लाइक द्याट्स माई फेभरेट काइन्ड अफ गिटार्स अनि आई थिङ्क एडभान्सहरूलाई चाहिँ आई वुड रेकमेन्ड फेन्डर भन्दा पनि देयर इज लाइक बुटिक बिल्डर्सहरू वेयर दे टेक द कन्सेप्ट किन फेन्डर स्टिल इज लाइक मास प्रड्युस्ड हो उनीहरूको कस्टम सप मोडल्सहरू चाहिँ एकदमै एक्सपेन्सिभ हुन्छ तर देयर इज लाइक बुटिक बिल्डर्स वुड लाइक जस्ट टेक द्याट कन्सेप्ट अनि तर मोर लाइक ह्यान्डमेड बिकज गिटार किन राम्रो हो भने वाट मेक्स द गिटार रियली गुड इज लेस अबाउट स्पेसिफिक इलेक्ट्रिक गिटारमा चाहिँ लेस अबाउट what it looks like अनि what electronics that's like secondary main चाहिँ like it has to feel good बजाउने बेला like strum गर्ने बेला it has like vibrate in a nice way so like the त्यो भयो भने चाहिँ you can slap anything on top you can make it look like anything you have any color whatever the actual craftsmanship चाहिँ has to be अनि त्यो चाहिँ जतिको refined craftsmanship गर्यो it becomes more and more expensive जस्तो नि होइन जस्तै अब अकुस्टिक गिटारहरूमा चाहिँ नि द्याट्स अब इलेक्ट्रिकमा चाहिँ यु क्यान देस लाइक अ लाइन यु क्यान ब्लर राम्रो डिफ्रेन्ट पिकअपहरू राखेर चाहिँ बिकज इट्स स्टिल लाइक अ इलेक्ट्रोनिक थिङ एट द एन्ड अफ द डे होइन यु क्यान मेक लाइक अ चिप गिटार साउन्ड प्रिटी नाइस अकुस्टिकमा चाहिँ नि देयर इज नो यु क्यान्ट फेक इट बिकज इट्स लाइक इट्स टोटल वुड टोटल कन्स्ट्रक्सन एभ्रिथिङ म्याटर्स क्या लाइक द काइन्ड अफ वुड माथि राखेको कस्तो ग्लु चलाएको छ भित्र कस्तो ब्रेसिङ गरेको छ त्यो चाहिँ नि लाइक अकुस्टिकलाई चाहिँ नि आई मिन द गोल्ड स्ट्यान्डर्ड फर मी इज मार्टिन गिटार्सहरू चाहिँ राम्रो छ यो गिटार चाहिँ खास प्रो मार्टिन भन्ने हो क्या यो चाहिँ नि मेड इन जापान होला यो चाहिँ मेरो ठुलामा गिटार हो उहाँ सिङ्गापुरमा हुने बेला लाइक सो दिस इज लाइक रियली ओल्ड गिटार मेरो बाजेले किनिदिनु भएको सो यो चाहिँ नि इट्स इज सलिड वुड हो किन त्यो टाइममा चाहिँ नि अब जापानमा 60s 70sमा चाहिँ युएस इम्पोर्ट आउनु एकदम महँगो हुन्थ्यो सो दे वुड जस्ट रिक्रिएट क्या त्यो भएर लेस पल स्ट्र्याट मार्टिन तर उनीहरूको रिक्रिएसन भनेको नै एक्चुअली दे वुड टेक रियल वुड रियल वर्कम्यानसिप रियल मान्छेहरूले बनाएर ह्यान्डमेड नै हुन्छ सबै क्या जस्ट ओन्ली बिकज इट्स मेड इन जापान तर उनीहरूले बट दे वुड गेट लाइक अ मार्टिन गिटार दे वुड लाइक कपी अल द सेट हुन्छ नि measurements so this guitar is really nice अनि तिमीले यो गिटार स्ट्रम गर्यो र भर्सेस लाइक बिगिनर अकुस्टिकमा यत्तिकै छुट्टिन्छ क्या साउन्ड इट्स सो अकुस्टिकलाई चाहिँ आई थिङ्क इट्स वर्थ इट स्पेन्डिङ लाइक अ लट अफ मनी जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई
साउन्डमा पनि when you're recording does that can translate into recordings
oh yeah 100% it's like night and day किनभने अब त्यो that was also something that when I was starting out I couldn't hear the difference त्यो चाहिँ जति गर्दै गयो इयर डेभलप हुँदै गयो देन यु स्टार्ट हियरिङ द डिफ्रेन्ट किनभने कस्तो हुन्छ भने नट द्याट यु डोन्ट हियर डिफ्रेन्स के नमिला जस्तो लाग्छ कि तर यु डोन्ट नो वाट इट इज एन्ड यु थिङ्क इट्स लाइक तिमीले इक्युहरू चलाउनु थाल्छ अनि त्यसपछि के चलाउनु थाल्छ अनि द मोर यु एड थिङ्स you feel like you're getting somewhere, but actually getting farther away from where you're supposed to go. Okay? So the more I do it, then it's like I realize like it has to do a lot with the microphone and the instrument you're recording, and that could be a singer, someone who sings really well, has a really good voice, and who is singing on the right kind of microphone for that person. सबैलाई different microphone suit गर्छ हैन. So like knowing that, and सबैलाई different guitars have a different sound, so you need to have different kinds of microphones. So like त्यो मिलाएपछि चाहिँ त्यसो पछि साउनै पर्दैन कि. किन already is in a good place अनि अलिअलि गरेपछि then that's good. So the less is more भन्ने चाहिँ it's a very big thing in
So now as a guitarist, when you're working with musicians, तपाईको दिमागमा लु यो musician को लागि चाहिँ यो गिटार है भन्ने चाहिँ आउँछ कि?
Yeah, of course. त्यो आउँछ as in musician भन्दा पनि गीत अनुसार हुन्छ. Certain गीतमा चाहिँ it has to be this kind of sound. Certain गीतमा certain guitars. The reason I have मसँग एकदम धेरै electric guitars, so they're not यस्तो expensive guitar हैन. But they all have a different sound. So that's the reason I have them, because your part ma sometimes a song will have like 5-6 guitars only because they have different sounds. Sometimes they're blending, sometimes one comes up, and sometimes the other part of it. So it's
For me, first time guitar उठाएर हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो होटल क्यालिफोर्नियाको सोलो प्ले गर्दाखेरि they had like त्यो दुईटा वाला guitar. I was like, oh, खालको first time. So those were the guitars that's like blew my mind, because first time देखिरहेको गिटार भनेको acoustic electric, अनि त्यति बेला त्यो सोलो परफर्म गर्दाखेरि आई थिङ्क गिब्सनको दुईटा डबल नेक वाला ड्याम भने. तपाईँको त्यस्तो केही लाइक हुन्छ नि फेभरेट गिटार छ?
फेभरेट अब मेरो अब खास मैले भने म त स्ट्र्याट र टेली चलाउँछु, तर मेरो खास फर्स्ट गिटार लभ भनेको चाहिँ लेस पल गिटार. किन म चाहिँ अब बच्चा बेला Guns N' Roses was like the biggest band. Japanese Slash को पोस्टर हुन्थ्यो क्या त्यो Les Paul guitar. त्यो चाहिँ मैले अहिलेसम्म किनेको छैन, because when I do get it, it has to be like
a grand,
really nice Les Paul. त्यो चाहिँ and Les Paul चाहिँ एकदमै it's like overpriced at this point, हैन? तर I mean it is.
How much would that be worth?
Probably like अब त्यस्तै खालको $3,000 around. It's like कति
4 लाख
4-5 लाख.
चाहिँ.
Which I mean मान्छेले किनेर हुन्छ, I don't know how. मसँग छैन 4-5 लाख वाला गिटार.
Yeah, exactly. And I also wanted to shift a bit in terms of तपाईँको 1 year at Albatross. How that happened, and त्यसपछि Albatrossमा चाहिँ त्यहीँबाट सुरु गरौँ न फर्स्टमा.
Albatrossमा चाहिँ अब मैले फर्स्ट मान्छेको बारे सुनेको चाहिँ सनी हो, सनी द गिटारिस्ट. अनि उसको चाहिँ मैले भर्खर गिटार बनाउनु थालेको छ नि, मेरो साथीले चाहिँ मेरो साथीको त्यो डिस्टोर्सन पेडल भन्ने हुन्छ एउटा त्यो, अनि उसले बेचिरहेको छ, किन्ने हो नि मैले, हुन्छ किन भने सनीको किनेको मैले. अनि द्याट्स हाउ वी इन्डाइरेक्टली मेट. अनि हाम्रो स्कुलको यस्तो प्रोग्रामहरूमा पनि सनीकै एम्प लिएर आउँथ्यो कि उसले. अनि उसको पुरा त्यो के स्ट्र्यापमा सन्नी भनेर लेखिरहेको थियो. त्यो मलाई अझै याद छ. अनि अझै सनीसँग चाहिँ दामी सामान हुन्थ्यो, त्यो चाहिँ थाहा थियो हामीलाई. अनि म ब्राइनगन्ड स्कुल सिद्धेपछि, मेरो A लेभल सिद्धेपछि चाहिँ सनीले होइन एउटा कन्सर्ट भएको थियो, त्यसमा चाहिँ एल्बाट्रसले बजाएको थियो, 1974 एडीले बजाएको थियो. कसो त्यो अर्गनाइजरहरू चाहिँ हाम्रो साथीहरू भएर उनीहरूले हामीलाई पनि छिराइदियो क्या. मेरो म अनि अनुराग भन्ने साथी थियो, जय, अनि ड्रमर दाइको नाम बिर्सेँ. So we did like 4 or 5 songs. अनि सनी पनि हेरेको थियो, उनीहरूलाई एकदम मन पऱ्यो हामीले बजाएको. अनि सनीले मलाई कन्ट्याक्ट गर्यो, त्यसपछि लेट्स ज्याम भन्यो. अनि त्यही हो, बिस्तारै ज्याम गर्दै गयो. त्यसपछि शिरीष दली चाहिँ ठ्याक्कै US गएको थियो त्यो बेला. सो देयर वाज लाइक अ ग्याप, उनीहरू के गर्ने भइरहेको थियो. अनि त्यो बिस्तारै वी रोट लाइक सङ्ग्स, अनि कन्सर्ट पनि गऱ्यो 3-4वटा. आई मिन त्यो टाइममा चाहिँ नि इट वाज लाइक आई डोन्ट नो, वी आर अल लाइक म 19 थिएँ, उनीहरू 21 त्यस्तै कति थियो होला. यो चाहिँ एउटा त्यो बेला फर्म भएको बन्ड इज लाइक स्टिल गोइङ स्ट्रङ. किनभने देयर इज सो मेनी टाइम्स आई हेभ कम टु नेपाल, अनि दे हेभ प्लेड एज माई ब्याकअप ब्यान्ड भनौँ न. अहिले चाहिँ खासै धेरै गरेको छैन, तर देयर वाज लाइक अ पिरियड अफ टाइम. अनि उनीहरू US आएको बेला आई ओपन फर देम कपाल अफ टाइम्स. अनि हामीसँगै न्युजिल्यान्ड पनि गयो. Like we did 2 sets. सुरुमा ओपनिङ चाहिँ मेरो सेट, where they would back me, अनि त्यसपछि उनीहरूको आफ्नै सेट अनि आई वुड जोइन देम फर लाइक अ सङ अर टु
What was your favorite creation working with them?
अब त्यो दिज आर भेरी अब्सक्योर सङ्ग्स कसैलाई पनि थाहा छैन होला यो इङ्ग्लिस सङ्ग्सहरू मलाई चाहिँ एकदम मनपर्ने चाहिँ इडियट नेसन भन्ने गीत थियो हाम्रो अनि अर्को चाहिँ फ्रिडम लुक्स गुड अन पेपर भन्ने दुईवटा गीतहरू चाहिँ लास्ट इयर होइन 2 years अगाडि मैले मोक्समा बजाएको थिएँ अनि त्यति बेला चाहिँ सनीहरू पनि सो वी प्लेड दोज सङ्ग्स अनि सिरिस डली स्याङ
मेरो लागि चाहिँ त्यो अति भयो एल्बम पुरै नै वाज सो स्पेसल के अनि आज लाइक किनकि जुन चाहिँ पहिला त अब नेपालमा अब एल्बमको कल्चर अझै पनि छैन होइन आई अल्सो वान्ट टु गेट इन्टु द्याट इन टर्म्स अफ जो मान्छेहरूले उनीहरू इपी मात्रै निकालिरहेको छ कि होइन एल्बम्सहरू चाहिँ सोच्दैन मोस्ट अफ द पिपल होइन इन टर्म्स अफ किनकि तर अति भयो चाहिँ फर मी द होल एल्बम नै मैले मजाले सुने अब आई डोन्ट नो अब लट अफ पिपल होइन बट फर मी Albatross in itself is a हुन्छ नि evergreen brand के अनि if you think similarly you know what do you think makes Albatross a evergreen band जस्तो लाग्छ
I mean because they are like consistent they're like just been going strong since the first album and they're also like developing their sound has changed they're like more heavy now which is what they originally were अनि बिचमा चाहिँ अब यु नो अब फर्की त्यो गीतहरू चाहिँ त्यो निस्केको बेला हामी पनि लाइक वा दिस इज Albatross भनेर लागेको थियो बिकज इट वाज लाइक सो डिफरेन्ट देन द म्युजिक द्याट हुन्छ नि दे वर मेकिङ द्याट आई वाज मेकिङ विथ देम and I don't think they really like planned on that being their sound. I mean, I don't know what was going on, but then they like sort of like became. This I really respect them for that. I think they could have just gone on just the guitar like they say market like did they, but they were like, oh no, we're like heavy band, and then they did Mora Malai, and that was like a really heavy album. अनि त्यसो गीतहरू पनि मान्छेले मन परायो सो इट्स
heavy album as in what
like
if you could
the jajang distortion guitar भएको होइन screaming vocals so अब चाहिँ अब कोही मान्छेलाई त खसेको तारा सुनाइदियो अनि भर्सेस मर मलाई या के अरे रातको रानी लास्ट सङ कोलाबोरेट इट्स लाइक कम्प्लिटली डिफ्रेन्ट ब्यान्ड टाइपको छ नि उनीहरू एन्ड I mean, I really like artists who do that. They just like do what they want to do. And I think audiences are funny because audiences are like I see them in two ways. Okay? They're like the short-term audiences, as in like people who just like okay, like you at a certain time your audience use sunthyo, you know? Versus there's like an audience over like a whole stretch of time, discography, like legacy, whatever you want to call it.
yeah.
I feel there's an audience who respect artists who have that discography. Because सुरुदेखि लास्टसम्म they're like doing and the music has changed. Your album यस्तो थियो, your album यस्तो थियो, यो bang soft थियो, like heavy, यो bang you do weird थियो album. यो albumमा उनीहरूले भिडियो निकालेन, यो albumमा धेरै भिडियोज छ. So like I like so म चाहिँ त्यस्तो खालको fan हो. Like the bands I really like, I rarely like just one of the album. I like their whole like मन परेन भने त उनीहरूको होल जर्नी phases so going to the thing of albums I think that's why albums are very important अहिलेको अडियन्सले सुनोस् नसुनोस् like it's like a signpost in your career को trajectory लाग्छ मलाई that's how you can identify like yo era I mean now it's sort of videos have taken that thing but videos भन्दा साथ then it becomes like you're sharing your senses. You're not just listening, you're like listening and you're seeing. And now you're thinking because you're reading the comments. Or like you're looking at the subtitles because you can't understand the lyrics because I don't know. There's like so many things happening. For like, I like just listening. I'm just like eyes. You don't even close your eyes, look at something, but you're just using your just one sense. And I think that's something that's like sort of lost because songs become important in the YouTube age because the video is enhancing that thing. तर तिमी त्यो गीत मात्रै सुन्यो भने would you have that same feeling like I don't know so there's any for me the song is the most important thing. I don't know so
अनि तपाईँको मैले मजाले सुन्दाखेरि चाहिँ च्याङभा चाहिँ जुन चाहिँ छ नि त्यसमा तपाईँले रिफ इन्ट्रोड्युस गरे नि आई वाज लाइक सो ब्लोन अवे विथ द्याट होइन त्यो चाहिँ कसरी आयो त्यो रिमिक्स चाहिँ कसरी आयो
I think there's no thought behind it. It was just like just whatever came natural.
Yeah, if you search up on TikTok and there are covers as well, get the songs and when you see people doing covers of your song, how do you feel?
I feel really happy. I mean, it's not my world. More Kasa TikTok world. Unlike my wife, I'm not huge into TikTok. The most I do is Instagram. Of course, like it's always so nice to see people covering my songs. Like that they would take the time to learn and say, figure out, or like search the tabs or listen to my songs and try to figure out what's going on. And if like my still there are questions that I ask about Instagram, people always but whenever there's like a guitar question, I pretty much always respond because I love talking about.
And त्यसपछि how into are you for like AI को जुन चाहिँ revolution छ in music मा कतिको how much are you interested in that?
I'm very, very interested because I mean that is the future, and yet you can't deny it. You can't be in denial, Slugsa. I mean it's really interesting about के हुन्छ थाहा छैन because it's still early days नै हो अहिले हैन.
What do you think that can be possible? People जो introduce भएको छैन, what do you think can be possible through AI for music?
And now like AI can write a song for you like and record it, make it like a fully fleshed song. But I think that is still in my मेरो विचारमा चाहिँ like what comes from you is you. Like if someone connects with what you feel, what AI does is like चटक जस्तो हुन्छ नि. यसलाई त मोमोबाट गीत सुन्नु मन त मोमोबाट गीत गाए मोमो song about eating momos in Tamil in the style of Ed Sheeran, sung by Ed Sheeran फ्याक निकाल्यो हुन्छ नि त्यो. It's like a momentary enjoyment. It's like music lovers or like for me music is like a deep thing, a connection that is like a lifelong. But त्यो गीत कहीँ सुन्यो भने it reminds you of this one place. I don't think AI songs might do it in one way of like more, but it's not like I don't feel it has the longevity of feeling like just the emotional attachment. And also AI is like more suited for like generic things like so. You want like coffee shop music, like its place coffee shop music because coffee shop my it's just for a vibe. Testo like AI is gonna take over. That's no question. Like anything that's like background music, anything that's like that's I feel like is all AI now.
Have you implemented any AI stuff in your music?
Yeah, I'm starting to experiment, like especially with like lyric writing. Not that I would copy what the AI does, but it's more like if I'm thinking of a theme, just to see what's happened, what it would say, and then what happens is like so पढ्यो अनि त्यसपछि यो त भएन एउटा word राम्रो छ, and then that would launch me into like something then you go somewhere else, and then what happens is like you do that and पछि like the end product might be completely different than what the AI spit up, but at least
it's sparked.
It's like you're like के भन्छ to and fro गर्ने एउटा कोही मान्छे हुन्छ नि. अब if you had like a songwriting partner, that would be the same thing. You to and fro गर्ने बेला काका पुग्छ नि. So for all us lonely bedroom producers, singer songwriter, we're just like alone in our room. Like AI is like a good bouncing board sometimes. Technically, I haven't really messed with that many AI plugins because it's not really there. AI wants it, but it's not really AI. It's like, I mean, even AI is not really AI because it's pulling from like, it's not making stuff out of thin air. It's sampling from a data set. So lyric writing, it helps because it has every song and every poem, everything is there. Mixing or it's still, I still haven't found anything that sounds good because it has its own idea of what it is, and then it just sounds very wrong a lot of the times of what it's doing. So Mixing मा चाहिँ it's going to take a long time for AI to be.
For me personally, what is the most exciting is people who've passed away and this उनीहरूको म्युजिक जुन चाहिँ छ नि त्यो स्पार्क फेरि ल्याउन सक्ला कि भने in terms of maybe people can हुन्छ नि नयाँ सङ लक्ष्मी प्रसाद अथवा सरी के भन्छ पोएम्स अर हुन्छ नि सङ्ग्स बाई पहिलाको नारायण गोपाल होइन मेबी नाउ ही क्यान डु सङ्ग्स अगेन तर अब को के कपिराइट लज थाहा भएन तर द्याट माइट बी फेरि अगेन
Yeah, that can. I mean, that I feel mixed about, but I mean, it's in a way it's nice. I mean, म पनि सुन्न हुन्छ कति like गीतहरू sung by John Lennon. In a way, it sounds like nice, but sometimes I feel like is this like are we crossing a line? Like but it's been crossed. Like whether we like it or not, like it's happened and it's gonna happen. And, you can just occasionally look at a boss and put him. It's the reality.
बिचमा आएको पनि थियो I think ड्रेकहरूको आएको थियो मजाले आएको थियो I was like really the songs were really good but पछि I don't know copyright laws के छ त्यसमा चाहिँ जस रमाइलो चाहिँ रमाइलो to see that
त्यही त हैन त्यो it's for me it's still in the phase of still I mean basically it's entertainment नै हो so I feel like it's going to be tough for people who make music solely for the sake of entertainment as in like entertainment doesn't mean like book like entertainment is like you're like creating a vibe in restaurants to elevate music advertisements or it's like that's tough for those creators because that's not like deeply emotional music that's like music you're like using to enhance certain things yeah.
I also wanted to show this cancer. Can you pull ChatGPT up? And then it's a mazaka I was researching and then when do you know you can research up ke तपाईको नाम सट्ट राख्यो भने it gives the whole description about you.
यो चाहिँ मैले गरेको छैन.
Let's try it. तपाईको मज्जाले yeah it searches through the web and then yeah boom. Your whole history in terms of everything is there. How do you feel about this?
I think this is pretty sweet. मेरो काम धेरै सजिलो भयो because I'm always like struggling for like killing. Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is good, but it's showing like kakaबाट pull गरेको.
Pull गरेको पनि yeah.
And so like the only thing you have to be careful is sometimes it's inaccurate where they're pulling from. That's the only thing. But it's nice. I mean. मैले अब कस्तो चाहिँ गरेको छ भने अब write a song in the style of Diwas Gurung भने चाहिँ गरेको छ it was nothing like I would write just I was curious के तर त्यो चाहिँ I like that हुन्छ नि अब you think of a random subject अब अनि random like promptsहरू and then what it does I think it's still
तपाईँको सब pull up गर्दा रहेछ how everything your background everything
yeah
and once you get it I think यसमा मजाले you can fine tune
yeah exactly no I think that's what is best for as like a launching pad type
folk style music भनेर राखेछ everything and all I think it's pretty fun छ नि like आफ्नै चाहिँ ठ्याक्क निकाल्ने in terms of gives all the links and stuff
nice